it's interesting to me that Biden and his foreign policy team are uh, just incompetent. I feel as though they are not knowledgeable about the world. The things they think will happen, it just don't make any sense. So, for example, last year, Biden, after he met with Putin, he said, "Well, Mr. Putin has a problem because all he has are nuclear weapons and oil wells, and it's a small economy." And this is a trope that has been repeated. The late John McCain famously said that Russia is just a gas station masquerading as a country. And what these people don't know is that Russia's economy is integrated with the economy of the rest of the world. You can't hurt Russia and not hurt everybody else. So the US gets oil and gas from Russia. Europe is very much dependent on Russian natural gas. The Germans built a pipeline. Angela Merkel did this deal with Putin to build the Nord Stream 2 pipeline from Russia to Germany, and they've now shot themselves in the feet as far as I'm concerned. They did this deal because they need Russian natural gas. Germany got rid of nuclear, phasing out coal. So wind and solar is not enough. You still need a fossil fuel source. And natural gas makes the most sense for them. But they've undone this deal. They're being pressured to get rid of Russian natural gas altogether. Of course, that would help the U.S. What the U.S. wants is to force Europe to buy fracked gas, but they don't even have the facilities. You can't just ship fracked gas. You have to have the right infrastructure once the ship arrives in Europe, and they don't have it yet, and they're not going to have it for a couple of years. So Germany is a classic example of a country that is really doing itself in, that's going to have to pay more for energy or not have it at all. And we're seeing food, and Biden quite casually, when he was in Europe a few weeks ago, saying, well, yeah, there are going to be food shortages. Why? Russia is a major exporter of wheat. Ukraine is a major exporter of wheat. So Ukraine's harvest obviously will be smaller, and Russia will be sanctioned and won't be able to sell it. So people all over the world, throughout the global south, are going to suffer. So we see this economic war of attrition because of this premise that the Russian economy could be destroyed with sanctions. And while it has been hurt, it has not, and the ruble has not lost value. The U.S. is trying to bully countries like China and India into not buying Russian natural gas. I think it's particularly funny that China is demonized all the time, and these same people who say China has concentration camps, which it doesn't, and sanction China, suddenly think China's going to be their friend and do what they want, when China and Russia have this very strong alliance, better than allies, as Xi Jinping famously said. So we see the United States with this incompetent team of ideologues who are also not very smart, trying to force Russia to do what? To leave Ukraine? They're not going to. They didn't go in order just to leave. And they're harming the US and harming the rest of the world in the process. So we will see who blinks first. The obvious solution is to talk. You can win a war on the battlefield, just defeat the other military, or you can talk and end it. This has happened many times throughout history. But the U.S. has backed itself into a corner with, Biden periodically, when he's not calling Putin a war criminal, talking about, and they've even coined this phrase, Putin's price hike. And this is supposed to explain away all the economic problems that Americans were experiencing even before February 24th, when the Russian military went into Ukraine. prices were going up, gasoline prices were going up. We have corporations gouging the public. And instead of talking about price controls or something that would really help people, they seem to think that this Putin's price hike and blaming Putin for everything is going to help their political fortunes. I don't believe it will. It's ironic because they have won the propaganda war. I think most Americans see Russia as this evil country. It's, I mean, years and years of war propaganda, and they finally really need it, right? Most people are not aware enough to question the narrative they've been told. So there are very few people who are questioning it. So most people accept Putin is evil and he eats babies and Russia is completely at fault and the US didn't do anything wrong, bears no responsibility for this situation. But that does not mean that it helps Biden and the Democrats. There was a new poll released in the past week. His approval rating is only 33%, which is dismal. And that's because he has not done the things he said he was going to do. He's hoisted on the petard of the lies they told about his administration. The most progressive president since FDR. He's cutting child poverty in half, which wasn't true in the first place. And now the child tax credit has disappeared. Build Back Better is on hold. People were helped a little by the stimulus or by the child tax credit, gone. He said he was going, and he has the power, executive order authority to relieve some student loan debt. He hasn't done that. So people are hurting, and it's the contradictions of the thing, because they know this is what people want. So during his campaign, he said he was going to do a lot of things which he didn't do, and the contradictions in the system of him saying, nothing will fundamentally change, promising the U.S. oligarchic class that nothing would change for them. But that's exactly what we need. We need things to change for us, for our benefit. But, one stimulus or the infrastructure bill was enough for them. And they put their foot down and said, no more, that's it. He went along with them, and people are unhappy. So while people have, most people have, unfortunately, accepted the narrative about Russia in Ukraine, that does not help Biden and the Democrats.